Whether the weather be fine or whether the weather be not, whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Whether this is your first episode or you are a bellwether bringing others to hear, we're glad the weather has brought you our way, and we welcome you to Craft and Chaos. This show is a safe harbor from the howling gales of rejection to allow the quiet breeze of inspiration to tickle your ears. My name is Kyle, and I'm wondering why all the crickets have stopped chirping. Looking at the sky, warning the visitors from out of town about the strange winds he's been noticing. It's acclaimed author Ryan Dalton.
Yes, be careful. I'm not sure why, but be careful.
Standing on the railing of his lighthouse, pipe clutched tight in teeth. Wondering about the strange lights at sea. It's sonic entrepreneur Pete Wright.
God, I want a pipe. I deserve a pipe.
And definitely not trying to convince you to join her moon-worshipping doomsday cult. It's filmmaker Mandy Fabian.
Give it a shot. What could it hurt?
The moon was falsely accused.
I've had some strange tides myself. We're hoping to answer some listener questions. But today when I tried to open the first one, my whole computer crashed. So things are back up running now.
Chaos.
Perfect, but hopefully it'll get us through this episode. Our first topic. I was recently watching one of the many adaptations of lots of popular culture characters. It doesn't matter which one because there's so many right now. And in the process of watching it, I thought, hey, there's a story I've been wanting to do for a while that this character could easily slot into. But then I was sort of caught in this thing with that. And so this is the topic I wanted to bring to you guys. Is it better to take a completely new character from scratch, like that's all yours to tell a story that no one knows and chances are no one will care about, or to take the story and make it a Sherlock Holmes story or a Dracula story, and you add to the canon of this famous character, and then also you have the chance of being buried in the thousands and thousands of stories that have been told about these characters. So I'm curious at what your thoughts are versus OC versus, well-known character.
I typically find the weight of honoring a world or honoring an idea of a character successfully to be a little hefty in terms of, and also because it feels like, oh, everyone's going to jump on this. Like, unless I'm really passionate with, identify with the character. For example, Ursula the Sea Witch. Like, I could probably do a great, something with her. But I find it to be a little weighty. That said, I am actually directing a micro budget feature that is a reimagining of Snow White, and I'm not writing it, though. I'm not writing it, but I'm directing it. And what I got to do as a director, which was very cool, is we are rethinking the idea that the witch is like, boo-hoo, I want to be pretty forever, and I want to steal your youth because youth is everything. And the witch instead is like looking to young girls to take her power, and they won't. So it's like a feminist reimagining. That makes me very excited.
That's awesome. It's awesome because it's not like, I guess the line for me, I've always thought about this. If I want to contribute to an existing canon, like, oh, so I'm going to start writing fan fiction. And I don't know why that bias sounds so derogatory. I recognize just saying it out loud. Like, do I have enough to contribute to make something original? Or is it just, I want to see what happens when these two characters kiss? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I wasn't even like thinking about fanfiction. Like, if you have a story about, whoever, like, heated rivalry, and you want to like have, you think, great, that's what, AO3 is for.
Totally.
Like, go forth in fanfiction. I was thinking more like what Mandy was talking about, like sort of mainstream, like as something you're going to release out into the world, like, but with somebody that we all know, like Tarzan or whatever.
Well, I look at somebody at a property like Enola Holmes on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Like, what an interesting like contribution to the universe of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes,
that we get a complete, just sort of new take on these characters that I think is compelling and fun. Like, they've done a great job of it. My bias has always been not to a character canon, but to a genre. Like, I love zombies. How can I write something that contributes to post-apocalypse virus like zombification? What can I do to make something original there? What can I do to, like, not taking specific characters, but taking worlds? And I think that lives inside the EC kind of gestalt, even though it's not name checking a classic character, right? That's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I feel a few different ways about this. For one, playing in like someone else's sandbox can be super fun. Whether you just want to do something fun and silly, or whether you feel like you really have something to say. So I think that can totally be valid. I do think in modern media we see kind of a dark side of that, where someone will be brought on to tell a story in a universe or an adaptation, and they don't really care about that universe or those characters. They just see it as a vehicle to push their own ideas, and so they do a disservice to what people liked before while bringing nothing new, and thereby attracting no new audience. So you kill the old audience while attracting no new audiences. So you essentially kill the entire property. We see that happening over and over again. And I think it largely comes down to the hubris of the creators, who can't get anyone to listen to their stuff on its own. So they hijack an IP and use it. So I do not like that. If you can do it and bring something interesting and fresh to it, and something that serves the story, the characters, the universe, and not yourself, then I am all for it. And I think it can be super fun. I'm sure it's harder these days, or I know it's harder to get something original out there and get eyes on it. It's still worth the pursuit, because we still need new things. We still need new myths. We still need new characters. And there is room for both in the universe if people are willing to do it and are kind of brave enough to go for it. For myself personally, sometimes I will get ideas that I think could work well in an existing universe. Sometimes I get ideas of what to do, and I know it's completely silly and it's fun to talk about as a ridiculous thing, like, oh, wouldn't this be funny? Like, one time a few years ago, I put a pitch out there in the world, not as a real pitch, just because I thought it was funny. But for a new Anne of Green Gables called Anne of Valhalla, in which she becomes like this battle axe warrior. and I didn't propose it as anything like, oh, someone should do this. I thought it was fun to think about. But then I do get other ideas for things that I think could be seriously done. In fact, I did, I can't say specifically what it is because we're still seeing what's going to happen with it. Did I mention this before? I did get to pitch something in an existing IP last year.
And you were just as cryptic last time you mentioned.
Yeah,
I know.
and I still have to be cryptic.
We're still hungover.
You guys know how slow publishing
I
moves.
think Mr. Rogers has passed away, though. I think we can talk about
the gates are open.
He'll be public domain any day. Yeah, it'll be him versus Winnie the Pooh or something.
Fred Rogers, zombie hunter.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
it's really interesting that this comes up. I mean, I when I was in college, I wrote a screenplay for a story that it was a Batman movie. It was a Batman movie that I really felt strongly about. It was called Batman: Toy of the Shadow, and it was essentially a two-hander locked room thriller where the Joker has taken over the systems of Wayne Manor, and the Joker and Batman are locked in together. And it was like you go to those, like you go to the McDonald's with the Playland thing. It was just like, in my head, it was like that. It was just like, let's see what kind of threat these characters can induce in one another when they can't leave. And nothing ever happened to it. But also, the sort of hangover for me is that kind of a story possible outside of the Batman lore to get any attention to it, right? It works especially well because it is these characters and their unique relationship to one another. I don't know. I'm not creative enough or clever enough to figure out how to make a story like that saleable when it's not the Batman and Joker.
Right. Or it just becomes thinly veiled versions of them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I would say, though, if anybody is stuck or wanting to write something, but they're putting too much pressure on themselves because their ideas aren't great enough or whatever, they just need inspiration. I think that would be a really fun thing to do as a writing prompt. If you're like, oh, I'm just stuck and I need to take, a couple hours and just just do something that feels fun, then I would say, yeah, take Batman and Joker and like make them two dads, or like, you know what I mean? Like at the adoption agency or so, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever floats your boat. You could use existing IP and characters to spark something that you're like, what if, they lost their superpowers for the day? Or what if, I don't know. They found out they're allergic to grapefruit. You guys, I'm an idea machine. Okay? They'll just keep coming. But you know what I'm saying? As an inspiration, I think it's a great thing. It's a great an easy jumping off place.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. And what just happened now, you said, make them two dads. And I said, yeah, with a lot of sincerity in my head until I was bowled over by the comedy of that beat. And I just feel like make Batman and the Joker two dads is going to be with me forever.
Couples fight.
It's essentially now the War of the Roses with Batman and Joker.
Couples
I can
fight.
see the pitch. Yeah, absolutely. This is outstanding work.
However, as time has evolved, Pete, I think your idea could very easily be like a Batman VR game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, call up whoever owns Warner Brothers right now, and
Oh, hang on, I've got them on speed dial.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, they're already on speaker. Yeah.
Yakko, Wacko, or Dot.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, then I think that gives a lot of different perspectives on that, so people can take from that what they will, and hopefully find inspiration either in someone they don't know or someone we're about to know. So from that, I think let's go to our first ad break.
It will all end in blood. It's me, the creepy little girl from all those scary movies. Sometimes starting a creative project can seem frightening. That's why I listen to Craft and Chaos. It's a podcast so good that I want to gobble it up.
Oh. Okay.
That's my neighbor.
That was weird.
Wow.
That was all of it?
What? That's all I had.
That's all.
Did she just dissolve into code? That was interesting.
I don't know. That was
Very
weird.
strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I hope we didn't just lose a sponsor, but
Oh, you don't
Okay.
think creepy little girl would give up on us?
No
I
way.
don't think so. I mean,
No.
Very dedicated.
She's
Yeah.
a ride or
Okay.
die.
Okay.
so okay. Then I guess since here we go, technical problems, but the chaos lives. We move on. All right. So let's get into some listener questions. We have Pete.
Not so fast. Hello from the other side. I've been listening to this frightful foursome for some time. Your other audience members can wait. I will be doing all the asking whilst answering nothing. And it will be about my favorite subject. Fear. They say the two greatest fears are public speaking and death. Today you will talk about the former to avoid the latter. Ryan Dalton, if that is your real name, the first question goes to you. You've written in the horribly named genre called middle grade fiction. Tell us the story of when you first faced your most terrifying audience. A room full of school children.
Oh,
Oh dear.
yeah. I think you should probably answer her.
Is it just me, or is she getting smarter?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
actually getting more dangerous.
Telling
This is
me
gonna
she
be
can
her show
learn?
at some point. Yeah. Good question too, though. You know what? Presenting in front of kids, it's a sliding scale depending on what grade they're in. Sixth grade, they're still like kind of super eager. There's not a lot of guile to them. They just want to have fun. Seventh grade, they're starting to kind of want to be cool a little bit. Eighth grade, they are over it. I mean, like it's like flipping a light switch. And so it depends kind of who you're talking to. Now, the first crowd that I talked to, actually, to this date, is still one of the biggest crowds that I talked to, actually. And it was, I think, 5th through 7th grade. And when I got to the school, they said, I thought it was going to be in the library, and they said, no, it's going to be in the auditorium. Like they had a playhouse. And I said, oh, okay. Like, so who am I presenting to? And they said, everyone. So it was
Like the entire school?
The entire school. Yeah. Fortunately, I went in fairly confident because I had been taught by teachers like some really good techniques for continuing to engage and switch up how you engage every several minutes.
Hmm.
And so I went in feeling like, okay, I at least have a pretty good program. So it went actually really well. And the best thing about it, the best thing about almost all of the visits, it turned out, was when you open the floor for questions, man, there is no predicting what kind of questions you will get. And that was my favorite part. Only about 10% of them were ever about books and writing. They want to know, what's your favorite foods. But by the way, with that crowd, it was the first crowd, that big crowd. They said, "What's your favorite food?" And I said, "Ramen." And I got like a full room cheer out of it. They all like, I was like, "Hey, you telling me I'm cool? All right."
Also, Oreo cookies.
Oh my god! And other groups, they become themes. Like some want to know like everything about your background, about your childhood. Others are obsessed with your relationship status, and they want to know like, do you have a girlfriend? Are you married? Why not? And, I mean, seriously, when someone said, "Are you married?" I said, "No." Then the next question was, "Why not?"
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
it's
much deeper
hilarious.
than therapy.
Well, oh yeah, and then it was like, "All right, kid, come up here. We're gonna talk."
Yeah.
So my favorite one actually was when I was signing. It was after ironically, it was after probably the hardest one I've done, because that was a lot of eighth graders and a smaller amount of other grades, and so I had to work like triple hard, like to keep them engaged and to keep them having fun. And afterwards, I'm signing. And as I'm signing the book for this one kid, who I'm gonna say was in 5th or 6th grade, he said, "Can you also write your phone number in the book?" And I looked at him.
Oh, dear.
I looked at him. I said, "Why?" And he said, "It's for my teacher." And at that point, the librarian who's already there just started lost. Had started laughing, and I said, "Are you trying to set me up with your teacher?" And he said, "Yeah."
Oh my God. Important lesson as a creative: always have a burner phone.
So
I thought it was to have business cards and a pager.
Right. So I thought it was incredibly sweet. I thought, well, he must really like his teacher that he's wanted to get her a date. But all that to be a roundabout way of saying it's most of the time super awesome. There were a couple of times where it was more challenging, not as fun, but most of the time the kids are great.
Have you ever had a question that they put to you that you were like, you had an answer, but you had to stop yourself from actually answering it?
They asked me, there was one class I remember. Well, inevitably someone's going to ask how much money you make.
Sure.
And I always just say enough. That so. But then there was one class
you say it really forcefully, like enough.
Yeah. I was like, no, I make enough, and I never, that's all I ever say. But there was one class that couldn't quite let it go. And so they started throwing out numbers like, do you have this much money? Do you have this much money? How about this much? How
Higher, lower, higher.
Like, could you buy this apple out of my hand right now? How about this apple and this banana? Could you buy these two things?
Well, they were getting closer and closer to the amount of money I actually have. And so I was like, at some point I was like, look, guys, I had to cut it off. I was like, look, guys, most people who write don't have nearly the amount of money you think they would. So that was the one time I had to cut it off a little bit, but they meant well. They were just curious.
I had hoped you would have broken down in tears in front of them, but I suppose that story will have to do. Now my gaze turns to you, Peter, the so-called podcast impresario. But your audio acumen means nothing when facing the literati. Did you fake it? Did you make it? Tell us of the terror you felt while unveiling your book at your first literary convention.
Oh no.
Intriguing.
Yeah, no. Okay, so it was terrifying because it was our first, and it was our first. Well, it was first. I was in the question. It's firsts, and it sucks. Firsts suck. It's exhilarating. It's very exciting. But here, the thing we ran into, and I'll just tell the story of the signing, right? Because the signing is awesome. And we were the signing they do in sort of time blocks. So we had the table in our part of the signing for an hour on such and such a day, and we were set up with like 3 other authors who had released books at that time, and they were really funneling people to that time. And we were sitting next to one of the legendary authors in the space, who was actually signing for his like 27th book while we were there signing for the first. And it was the greatest honor he could ever have done for us. He did not show up.
Oh.
He ghosted his own table.
Wow.
As a result, all of the pictures that we have of the signing have us with a gloriously, beautifully long line. Like, people were buying the book and they were not distracted by this luminary who ghosted the table. So that was fantastic. And then you run into this I don't know. I mean, I open to Ryan if you run into this too. We found that people were much more attuned to what we had written than we were, right? We wrote the thing and submitted to the publisher like months before the book came out. And so by the time people showed up at the table, they had read it and ingested it like the week before, leading up to the convention. And so they were much more up to speed on the book than we were. And we would get these questions like, did this really, I mean, tell me more about that time you were at the restaurant that time. And they were, tell me more about when this happened. And we were like, distant memory. That is like, I'm not even like, I want you to tell me about that. Why don't you tell me more? Because I'm not on the same page as you. I'm deeply gratified that you're here. And I recognize right now as I look into your eyes, I'm letting you down right now because it feels like I'm a different guy than the guy who wrote that book. And that was absolutely terrifying to me. But
So-
we got through it. It was fun.
Did you have, like, when you were going out for the first time, and this also might spill over into Dalton too, did you have mentally prepared yourself for the fact that you might be standing there for an hour with no one?
Yes, for sure. As it happens, there, like I said, there were 3 tables, and the one was ghosted. There was kind of a mid-tier person who was there to sign their second book, and we were friends with them. Like, we were friends and knew each other very, very well. And we had seen each other in the conference, and we'd done hugs and stuff. And we said, okay, so the deal is, if nobody shows, we're just going to combine our tables and we'll have a little kibbutz for an hour and it'll be fine. Like,
Nice.
we're going to take care of each other. So we knew that our social emotional needs would be met. Like, we wouldn't be alone. We would at least look like we were busy and we could sign each other's books and we would be fine. So yeah, I mean, in that case, we were okay, but we didn't have to worry about it. It was nice to feel like we had backup, but neither of us had to worry about it. It was a busy session the whole time. The whole hour we were busy. It was great.
Yeah, you just have to be zen about it, and knowing that. I mean, I've had signings where I had 100 people waiting to get a book signed. I've had signings where nobody showed up, and it just, you can't predict, and you just gotta ride the wave and just have a sense of humor about it all. In fact, there's a cartoon that I saw that I saved years ago that I pull up occasionally, and it's a table. On one part of the table, there's a sign that says "Meet the author," and there's a guy sitting there kind of looking glum. There's nobody there. Next to him at the table, there's a sign that says "Meet a puppy," and the line is out the door. And
Oh my God, that's so
yeah.
good.
so yeah, it's just the way it goes sometimes, and you just have to. You can't live or die by the length of the line of the people
Yeah.
waiting for you. You just got to enjoy it, enjoy whatever it is, have a sense of humor about it. Like, I remember once at a con, I was signing. I had people coming, but it wasn't like a massive line. I was sat next to Marissa Meyer, who is
Oh
is
my
a pretty
God.
big YA author, who had the entire hour a constant, like a constant line. She never got done with it. There was a point I leaned over to her and I said, "I'm real sorry that no one showed up for you, Marissa."
Marissa, would you like me to sign your
yeah.
book?
Yeah, she got a kick
You
out
do
of
your autograph. I could probably
Yeah.
take these people off your hand.
it. So yeah, it's just part of the game.
I had a film festival screening
Oh,
where
yeah.
it was like I was very shocked because it was the Twin Cities Film Festival, and it's a big festival, and they had everything. Like, it was well done. It was in a great space. They had these little like cool filmmaker lounges and panels and things. Like, it was a cool festival. I was like, okay, Minneapolis, nicely done. And then when I got to my screening, I was like, what? It was like there were four people. And that had not happened to me yet. And they were all my people. It was like my aunt, like the few people that I knew in Minnesota that I'd reached out to, they all came, but there were like, it was like not 4, maybe there were 10, but it was all people I knew, basically. It was nobody that I didn't know that I hadn't expressly said, hey, come to the screening. And that was really kind of like, oh, wait, what?
Oh my God. That stresses me out irrationally, like right now.
Right? And then the weird part is when they want to do the Q&A. And I'm like, I feel like we all just want to go to lunch.
Does everyone want to go to lunch?
You hang tight and we're all going to go to lunch and they can just ask me questions. Let's not do this.
In my mind, they chased you from the building while pelting you with bookmarks and erasers. Now we come to Mandy. You may reside in another nation than these 3 nitwits, but death recognizes no borders. You seem calm now, but that was not always the case. You once performed comedy to a cold room where no one laughed. Tell us of the fear you felt when you ascended to the heights of 30 Rock.
Oh my God. Really opening a vein.
Well, I just don't remember no one laughing. That's I don't have oh God. Well, okay, so are you talking about when I auditioned for Saturday Night Live?
That's the vibe we're getting, yeah.
Yeah. That was, yes. I don't think I actually pooped in my pants that day. But definitely, but I have it is required for me to be on stage. When I had written a one-woman show with characters and stuff, and I was required to go on stage that night, I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to remember all my lines and go on stage? And I had an adult version of an accident. It was like my whole body just went, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's all uphill from here. I mean, cannot get worse.
I just created a new low for myself. Good.
I instantly went, well, I'm good. Anything that happens on stage is not worse than me literally shitting my own pants. I was remarkably calm for Saturday Night Live because I don't know, I had summoned that cold from the universe. Like, I did a whole witchy poo. I secreted that and made it happen. I literally told people I had an audition for Saturday Night Live when I did not have one. And I said it for months and months, and then booked a ticket, went to New York, did not get an audition, flew back. Everybody said, how was your audition? I was like, oh, they postponed it. I told everyone that I had one and I did not. And then I got a call that I was being flown across the country to test for Saturday Night Live. So when I went to do that, I was so like, I'm a witch. Like, I'm a witch. Like, this does not happen. Like, there's no way I'm not getting this job. So aside from the normal kind of like nerves, I had such a ball. Like, I didn't think it was going to be the only time I was on that stage. But while I was on stage, I was really calm and totally present and like having a very good time.
And you were at home base, like you were.
I was literally in Amy Poehler's dressing room, and she was the person that they were trying to replace. I was like, "This is done, folks. Should we just put my name up now?" Oh no, I was so cocky, and when I did not get the job, I had a nervous breakdown. Like, I could not believe that I had. I was like, "This is destiny, right?" And I had to pivot. I had to pivot in a real way. That was scary.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think I tried to do stand up also one time, and it's surprising that Patrick is still married to me, to be It was
Well,
so bad. And you know how you're always insecure about being on stage? If it doesn't go great, you're a little bit like, ugh. Even if it does go great, I'm the person that I'm always like, yeah, but I was out of tune on that one. Or could you tell that I played the wrong chord? Or I didn't, like, I was always the person examining the performance afterwards and then thinking that I blew it somehow because I was so nervous. But this is the one time I was like, no, I was terrible and they hated me. I was really bad. Like, not one thing I said was funny. I don't think I thought it was funny. He was like, yeah, maybe stand up isn't your
Not your thing. Yeah.
maybe you don't do stand up anymore. Cause I was like, I am never doing stand up again. And he was like, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a good
I
plan.
support you in that.
He was like, that's probably a good move.
You can give up on your dreams. It's fine.
I'm
Like,
not gonna talk you out of that one.
Focus on core competencies. Yeah. There's a lot of creative stuff I have interest in doing or think would be fun. I have never once had the desire to do stand-up comedy. I just there's just something about it. I was like, no, that's not for me. If I was going to be on stage, I'd prefer sketch or improv or something.
Yeah, I admire it so much, but it's
Yeah, it's I think one of the purest art forms if you do it right. And to stand up there with nothing and to conjure a really good show is an incredible talent.
Yeah.
And art, it's just not one that I ever thought I would want to tackle.
And now we come to the worst of the lot. The cringe of all cringe. The weird who hides behind the beard.
okay. All right. Enough. We've had enough of this. While you were making all of my other fellow hosts face their fears, I found one of yours, creepy little girl. So listen close when I say, Boni Poehler cobitum era debent.
No, that's not fair. I wasn't done playing with you all yet. You can stop me from talking, but not from listening. Like and subscribe or you will regret it. Still a big fan of the show.
Well done.
Wow.
nicely done, Kyle.
I hope I didn't lose as a sponsor, but at some point.
I think you just have
fan
you just
becomes a fanatic
deconjured
and-
her.
right?
Yeah, it's like an interdimensional timeout.
Yeah.
Probably
Incredible.
the strongest long-time listener, first-time caller thing I've ever seen. Though.
We've ever.
Yeah.
It's really epic.
Well, I don't think we should do another ad break because I think I'm afraid of what might happen. So
Yeah.
maybe we should just roll into the next topic. And since we've been visited by the dead, let's talk about projects that are in their graves. I wanted you all to sort of think about projects that you have abandoned or maybe just set aside, but that you're going to come back to them one day. So Pete talked about the drawer of shame at one point. I'm like, I don't really believe in the drawer of shame. I kind of believe that everything eventually has its time. So I was curious about what you have that has it's still an open loop in your head.
Okay, I'm going to start because you just name-checked me about my drawer of shame.
Sure did.
And especially because the project that I'm talking about comes from my drawer of shame. I wrote a book over the pandemic, and it's unfinished. It's about 90%. Like, I just haven't locked an ending. But it is a zombie story. That's the theme as I was preparing for this. It starts with a little dick kid on top of the Empire State Building throwing nickels off the Empire State Building, and it ends in a zombie apocalypse. How can you go wrong? But I had been just noodling on this thing in the back of my mind for so long, and I thought, I think it needs to be told, but it's not. I can't unlock it without figuring out a way in. And then I don't even remember the trigger, but I pulled it out in Ulysses. I write in Ulysses, the app. I opened it up and I thought...
You pulled out Ulysses, the book?
I did not pull out Ulysses. This is the app.
Not going to give you the inspiration you think.
And
He writes in the margins.
I did. Do you know what? This is gonna offend some sensibilities here. I know it will. And I just want to pre-apologize. I carry the shame. I took the book and I gave it to Claude, the AI. I gave the whole thing to Claude and I said, Claude, I don't know how to write a contemporary musical. I know I've been in musical theater, but I don't know how to write it. I don't know the architecture of it. I just want to write something fun, and I need help structuring this story into a book, into the musical book. What would you do? And you guys, I haven't been so excited about a new project in a long time. This is so fun and so funny, and it's a comedy apocalypse musical, and I am working right now on the book myself with structured support from Claude, and it was an amazing partner thinking about it. And yet all the words are mine. I'm just saying the words are mine, but it taught me some things I did not know, and I feel like I am better equipped. It's like the most incredible creative wrench I have ever used, and it is helping me see around corners I did not know existed, and I am exhilarated. The I Want song, you guys, it's going to be a banger.
Okay, wow, Pete coming out on the side pro AI was not where I expected.
I did not expect that either. I'm shamed. I carry it. It's fine, but it's out there.
I love it.
Who's got another body they want to exhume?
I could talk about one. I mentioned it just briefly in another previous podcast. I can expound upon it. So
You don't have to give up any of your secrets. I don't want.
no, I'll talk about one that I doubt I'm going to end up going back to. I still would like to, but I don't know. I doubt it. So Count of Monte Cristo is my all-time favorite book, and yeah, I love it. And there was a point where I thought, I wonder if I could. I had never seen like a middle grade adaptation of it, like a modern day middle grade adaptation. And
Sequences are hard to. There are some that are hard to soften. I think from that.
Yeah, like having like your 15-year-old protagonist in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what gave me the most trouble was, where is that line? Where is the line where it is serious and a lot of trouble? And essentially, the line was, well, what from that story could someone in middle school realistically go through and realistically do? And at what point does it become so fantastical that nobody's going to buy in? Um, and I had other stuff that was going on at the same time as well, other projects that ended up taking more attention, and that one sort of got left behind. But I never quite figured out the line of, okay, this is what you go up to, and beyond it would just seem maybe too dark, definitely too ridiculous for 13-year-olds to be contending with, or and to go through. And at one point, like I said, it was just, there are other YA and middle grade stories I've written where the line was very clear to me. That one, I never even thinking of it now, I don't know the answer. Now it could be one of those instances where, like, what happened with the story I'm writing right now, like kind of lightning strikes at some point. I'm like, oh, that's it. It has not happened yet, and it's been a few years. So I don't know if I'll end up ever going back to it.
What's the longest you've ever gone with one of those like dead soldiers projects for anybody? Like the longest you've gone from I wrote this thing and then years pass and oh my God, I just figured it out.
I would say about 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
All right. And you finished it?
Yeah, I finished. So as I'm saying, I think, Dalton, first of all, I think you need to give yourself some grace. I like to think of those things as messages from the past, like basically like, sort of that, that, oh, it's future me's problem. I like to think of the fact that like you have something, you're like, I don't know how to deal with this, but you're going to get the skills to be able to do it. And then you'll go back and go, oh, there it was. And that was exactly what happened with this is I was like, at the time I was like, this is the best thing. And then crickets. And then I went back and I looked at it and I was like, oh, kid, I see what you were doing. I see what you, and I got to go in and like, as if I was a script doctor, to be like, oh, here's what you missed. And then go back in and put all the pieces together. And it was like, oh yeah, it was all there, but I just didn't have the skills enough to be able to put it all together. So yeah, well, I think a lot of those things are just waiting for you to have leveled up enough to go, oh, all right. It's like, in role-playing games or video games, you pick up a weapon that's a level 15, you're not a level 15. But when you get to level 15, suddenly it opens up and you can do it. I think of some of these stories as the same thing. They're just waiting for you to level up enough to be able to take them on.
Yeah, good point.
Do you mean, point of order, would the council please approach the bench?
I'll allow it, but watch yourself, counselor.
Talking about something that is unfinished, or are we talking about something that you finished but you never like shared it with anybody?
I guess both. I mean, it is a play that I had written and was so pleased and thought it was done, and then just absolutely went out of nowhere. And then it was like, I'm like, oh, okay. So then it was when I revisited it and went, oh, I see what it was. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, that was first draft. Like now it's the final draft, and that's now what like got attention for it. So
yeah, because my drawer of shame, like I tend to treat scripts like I have a hard time with breakups. A real hard time with breakups. I can't let go of any of them. There are very few things that I've done that I look at and I'm like, it's garbage. It was, I mean, there's a couple things, but I'm so eternally hopeful that the danger for me of going back to those things is I still believe in, I'm like, nah, we just gotta, like, I can make it work. We'll live apart. I just won't ever go to your family for Christmas. Like
we can make this work.
I love something about all of them, and it's really, there's a movie that I wrote and I have rewritten like 5 times because I keep going, somehow this has to exist, this movie. And it's so quirky and a little weird. I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea. Like I just don't, I haven't said it everywhere, but it's one of those things I'm actually scared to give it to people, because I don't want them to say no, because I'm like, I love it so much. But the few times that I've tried, nothing has happened with it, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I might be the only person that feels that way. But I am so in love with it. I seriously, like, it's like every 3 months I get this, like, that's it. I'm making bromance. Is there anybody I know in Chicago? I need a producer. Like, I'll shoot it on my iPhone. I'll get these actors I like to just go. I'll shoot it in 3 days. I don't care. Like, I get very like that with some of the projects that I have, because I just, whatever I wrote, like I loved it. I thought it was special. But, that's why I was asking about the unfinished, because the unfinished ones, unless it's like not a great idea, no longer viable. That's the other thing too. Like you write things and then they feel dated.
Yeah, so that brings up, I'm sorry, Pete, that brings up two things. For the only novel I've written was for NaNoWriMo. That was the National Novel Writer. We write a novel in a month. And I wrote it in 2011. If it had come out in 2011, it would have been amazing. But by the time it gets to now, it's absolutely incomprehensible. Like it was so set at that moment at that time. I figure if I would wait another 10 or 20 years, then I can be like, here's a nostalgic book looking back at 2011. And people be like, oh, wow, it's so timely. It's so full of all these references that how'd you do this research?
Oh yeah.
But at this point, it is I would never give it out to anybody. It's absolutely just dead. I can't even imagine what I would have to do to make it something real.
The campfire scene in Just Plus None was filled with a lot of social commentary and current things, and they were having arguments about real things, and I hadn't even thought of it, and my producer was like, you got to take all that stuff out.
Yeah, one of my plot points involved Foursquare. Does anyone remember
Foursquare? Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't even know what, there's nothing that took the place. It was.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
One of my favorite films that is really one of the best things I've ever written is a 65-year-old, 70-year-old woman who was hated phones, wasn't great with the phone. At the time I wrote it, that was actually pretty common. You didn't have to be 95 to be bad with the phone. It was pretty common that there just hadn't caught on. And now there's no way, right? Everybody in their 70s can use a phone and does.
Oh, and sorry, that the one I was actually going to bring to this thing was a screenplay I wrote. I got halfway through, and it's a horror movie, and I realized that I had made my villain too strong, and I couldn't figure out how to beat him. I was like, oh no.
Oh.
I was like, oh no. And
so you wrote season 4 of Sherlock, is what you're trying to say.
I was like, I can't see a way for my protagonist to get out of this. I don't know how to do it. And so it just sat for a long time. And actually, Renan Dalton helped me out, and I laid out the thing for him, and he said, oh, you could do X, Y, and Z, and that loops back to, and I was like, I could do that. And so he gave me the solution, but I have never gone back and actually implemented that to see if I could actually make it work. So but it's still, that loop is open in my mind. It was one of those I'm like, this is too good of an idea. This is like, somebody has to have done this already. And I went and did research. And I found that like one of the great horror masters had done a short story using this same concept. I was like, okay, good. Like that made me feel so much better, because it wasn't like laying down there that no one had done. And I was just, I can't be the only one who's figured this out, and somebody else already did. But it's still out there. It's still, they're still waiting for me. The characters are still waiting for me to give them the solution.
And the villain is super cocky right now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's just sitting there winning. #winning.
But do you think you will go back, or are you sort of like, I'm going to let it lie?
I do. No, I like to close loops. I don't like to have stuff undone. But my main problem, which, could be a whole episode in itself, is I have difficulty writing when no one's asking for things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can write that screenplay, I can finish it, and it'll just sit in the drawer with all the other stuff. So that's my motivational problems is I have a difficult time doing something that's never going to go anywhere. And I don't see any path to me selling a screenplay or shooting it myself or any of that. Like, I can't see it. So that I don't have any drive to put the limited amount of creative time and energy into a thing that I can't see ever paying off.
Right.
But that's my particular, villain in my own head that I'm still trying to fight through.
I'll tell you what can be very satisfying is when you have a seed of an idea or something that's just kind of half-baked or just a concept, and you write it down and it's in the idea notebook, and then years down the road, you're working on something else and you realize, oh, that little seed would be perfect in this. And then you reach back and pull that out and resurrect it and put it in this new thing, and it fits beautifully. And you're like, that's when it really, people say it, but then when you experience that like, the ideas never die. They're just kind of waiting for their time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing when you're like, oh man, I figured this out 10 years ago and didn't even realize it.
Yeah, we've had that with back to Pete, because we've been talking over him this whole time. Always in my head, I'd always have this idea for like a one shot, like a one act of like kind of like Inside Out, but more teenager related, of like having the voices in your head literally be people on the stage. So in terms of like somebody like wanting to go, like, all I want to do is go and talk to this person, and then having all the other voices be literally there going, yeah, this is a bad idea. And they're like, no, he can do that, like that sort of thing. And it had always been sort of a nebulous thing. And then Pete's son needed a one act for his school thing. And I was like, this is the time. I was like, because it's simple, really easy staging. It's all dialogue based, so no special effects, no major costume things. Like, I'm like, oh, you could do this in like 12 minutes and it'd be good. And so I wrote that. And so it exists as a thing. It's called Static in My Attic, and it is out there. So, and then maybe it actually is going to be showing up somewhere else too someday.
Awesome.
It's out there in the ether.
It is there.
Yeah, it was that thing. It was like that idea had always been there, and then suddenly the opportunity came, and I had it, and I was able to just like do that and go, yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah. Nice.
It's so funny that you say that, and I'll just crow a little bit about my son, because
Please
now
do.
He's in college, and he's been making shorts since his junior year in high school, and he's now in the film program at University of Oregon, and he finished his latest film, which is about 20 minutes. It's the longest thing he's made, and it's done. He wrote it and directed it, but he had a DP, and he had an editor, and he had somebody score it, and he actually said, Dad, I learned what color timing is, and it's been colored. And so it's like one of those things, like watching this young person acquire the skills to make every next thing that much better. And he said, my problem right now is I already know what I want to do differently for the next film, but it's a prequel to this one, and it's going to look much better than this piece of junk that is actually premiering, I think, tonight. He rented a theater and invited the cast and crew and anybody else who wants to come in Eugene to do this showing of this 20-minute show. He said, we only need an hour because we're going to have some snacks and talk and it'll be fun. And then we'll watch the movie and go home. But he said it is just an act of joy to watch and watch him collect skills.
Yeah.
To make the next thing just a little bit better than the last. And I feel like I can always re-internalize that message. That the thing I'm working on now is going to help me make the next thing a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. My daughter is like graduating soon, and she's like editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, and the editor and stuff too. And she's a really good writer, and I read her stuff, and I'm like, "You're not a journalist." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You're an essayist, like, and you're really good at it, but you're not a journalist. Like, there is a lot of you in everything you write, and that's not what journalism is." But I'm like very easily. I'm trying to say, like, you should be like David Sedaris. You should be like, like Sarah Vowell. Like, that is the path. Like, do that, because her voice is so strong. But it's that we get to that point where it's sort of like, I want to like guide you into the thing that you could be really good at, as opposed to like this other thing where you would sort of disappear.
Oh man, not your job, Dad.
I know.
Not your job. Stay the F away. That is the third rail if I've ever heard it.
Listen to this show. She doesn't listen to any. Just watch some of the ads, but that's it. That's
you know what you do? Tell her that being an essayist is too dangerous, and you never want to hear about her going near it again.
That's right.
Ryan.
That's
outstanding.
Right.
All right.
Anybody else have any other zombies they want to bring back?
Always. There's always more zombies.
You I actually have some, but I may end up bringing them back for real, so I'll probably keep those to myself for now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You actually make me think, as I'm giving myself an assignment, and I'm saying it out loud here. I wrote a short story in high school that I always knew was too short of a short story, but had legs. And I got great comments on it from my creative writing instructor, and then I put it in the drawer. And I kind of want to find it and see if I can do something with it today. I'm going to do that this week. That's what I'm going to do between now and the next time.
Yes.
I'm calling myself out.
So where you like do a dramatic reading of
Maybe.
Have a world premiere here on Crafting.
Oh, I like it.
I mean, yes, we have no bananas. Can't be the only thing that we do as a premiere.
I do like to say, surely not everyone is kung fu fighting.
Well, this has been Craft and Chaos. If you would like to ask us a question, you can do so over at craftandchaos.fun. We'll be sure the inbox is entirely ghost-free by the time you get there. But if you'd like to help to keep that creepy little girl at bay, there's a ritual you can perform. If you place 5 stars down on this show in the review section of your podcatcher of choice, you'll keep us all safe. Now, go make weird art.